Hey there, welcome to Down to Watch, the podcast that asks, are you down to watch? And what you will always find here is pop culture talk. I am your host, Kahmeela, here to review movies, TV, and music. But for the next few episodes, we're going to be recapping, discussing, interjecting our thoughts into the Walking Dead spinoff, The Ones Who Live. I'm joined by my Revisiting Sunnydale co-host and Watch with Marcella host YouTuber, Marcella.
Hello, how are you?
I am great because this episode is great.
Oh, so good. This episode was so good.
We are going to get into, Rick and Michonne end up with getting some couples counseling by a Roomba. So
yes.
with the help of a Roomba, I guess, is kind of a cock-blocking Roomba.
I tend to forget that they wouldn't have any idea what half of the stuff in this house is.
I know, right? Like the whole, they must, yes, absolute amazement as soon as they walk in, just like, this house is talking to me. What kind of sorcery? What is happening? Because
it explains why Rick gets so mad.
He's so upset. Roombas were out in 2010, but Southern man, he still wouldn't have known what a Roomba.
It's
not even to say that if things didn't go to shit that he would know what a Roomba was right now.
True.
Those are the types of things that Rick Grimes concerns himself with.
This is a really nice place too. Like, I would love to live here. Why are these places just empty? Well, This one, we find out why.
But still, it's just so pristine. And even
this
Rick
Roomba's been working overtime. Well, this poor little Roomba.
It's like, nobody's even here to appreciate my hard work.
I mean, I get the floors being clean, but
right.
He's not cleaning the windows and the furniture.
He's not hopping up on shelves and dusting and whatnot. And it's where's the energy source? And the Roombas, I always thought needed to be charged at some point. I don't know anything about a Roomba. Like, I know what it is, I know what it does, but I've never seen one in real life. So
it goes back to a base where it charges, and then
it does that on itself. It just does it on its own?
Yeah, once it's done, it goes back to the base where it empties, and then it recharges. And it's on a timer, and it's futuristic. I don't want one. Thanks, no. That's... no.
No, because I've heard, the conspiracy theory on that is that the government is tracking, the layout of your house with the Roomba, blah, blah, blah.
No, I'm more worried about it, accidentally sucking up Luna's tail. And, or her just jumping on top of it and riding it around the house.
Taking it for a ride.
No. Yeah,
She would love it. That would. The Ones Who Live, episode 4, What We. And so I'm thinking that all of these are going to spell out a sentence or are going to combine a sentence because years gone by, what we lost in the fire. It'll be the last one or something like that.
Yeah.
Is the next episode lost or what we learned or something of that nature. But before we get into this, today I was just kind of going back and I rewatched the episode, a few, not even the whole episode, but just when Michonne and Rick first met and just their moments in a couple of episodes. And I think that there's the first significant moment is in season 3, episode 12, Clear, the one where they find Morgan again.
Mm-hmm.
And so
stupid Morgan.
I think the reason he and Michonne and Carl go to the police station thinking they're going to get a bunch of guns. It's empty. And Rick's I have to, if we find plan B, figure out, he's going to go to neighboring bars and shit like that and try to scavenge guns that way. And Michonne's not saying anything about it, and she doesn't really respond. And so he's like, do you have a problem with that? And she just turns and looks at him and is no, Rick, I don't have a problem with that. And she hands him one bullet, and they just stare at each other. And it's a very long, uncomfortable kind of beat as the way they stare at each other. And even and there's a shot of Carl looking at them back and forth, what's happening right now? And she turns and walks away, and he just like stares off back at her for like a really long time. There's no reason in the script as to why that should have happened, because she's only been with them for a few episodes at this point. And so I think that is the moment. It's like something is happening in Rick at that moment. And he doesn't, he's like, what is this? I don't know. I wasn't expecting this. I don't know what this is. Is this okay? Because Lori has just died at this point, and he's just been talking to her ghost in the fields or whatever.
Oh, crazy Rick.
Yes. When Michonne meets him, he is like full on crazy Rick. He's like talking to people on the phone, and
he's hit with that magic. He's instantly hit with that magic. And they have a way of just looking at each other and speaking volumes without saying a word. They're just and it's wonderful. This should have been called Scenes from a Marriage, because this is
right. Because this is set up
perfect.
It's set up just like that, in like the whole sense of we're going to put them in this relatable space. You know, we're not putting them in like some burnt out building or whatever. This is something that most people are like, oh, okay. So now we see them like what it would be like in a real domestic situation if everything had not gone to shit. And it's very relatable. You know, it's stuff that we, the audience, know and recognize and feel comfortable in. And, but they are uncomfortable in it for a hot second, but also uncomfortable in their feelings and what they have to discuss. So what Michonne is charged with at this point is like, I need to get this motherfucker on board.
Yeah. And I love that she tells him, we needed a timeout.
Yeah.
We needed a timeout. And someone also said that they liked that the apartment had the temperature gauge, like their relationship was changing at the same level as the temperature in the room was changing, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome because like when they come back after all the fight and everything, it's like temperature gauge malfunctioning. like we can't keep up with the body heat. Yep. Stop it. Y'all are throwing off some crazy right now. So So interested in seeing the exact moment where Rick starts to feel a flutter at season 3, episode 12. Something is happening to him emotionally. We only have really one new character in this episode. It's the Roomba. So shout out to that. This episode was written by Denai Guerrera. I hope I'm saying her last name right. I never really say it on purpose because I don't think I'm saying it right. To those that may not know, she is a playwright, and she has like 4 plays under her belt, one of which was a Broadway play called Eclipse, where she was nominated for a Tony Award 2010. So shout out to Denai for being multi-talented as she is. And also I saw a thing online where I guess, I don't know when it was, but I guess Andy tried to go to see one of her plays and he couldn't get in.
Aww.
He's just like, he looks like he's out there like pleading at the box office. It's like trying to like really just like work his magic or mojo or connections or whatever, and he just couldn't get in. I think he mentioned something about it in one of these behind the scenes looks at
That's
the ones
so upsetting.
Right? Like, how could you not get in? Like, were you super late? That's what it was. Like, he had a ticket, I'm sure, or he just waited to the last minute to pick up his ticket. He waited too long to get there. You were late. It was your own fault, Andy.
And he's British, so they're probably like, you aren't Rick. You're a cosplayer. You're not the real.
Get out of here, you deadbeat. Go on, peddle your wares somewhere else.
But now knowing that she is a playwright, this episode is very much structured like a play.
Especially everything that happens in the apartment. In itself.
And I love that she immediately goes and it's like, I'm getting out of this shit. I'm going to put some comfy clothes on. I'm done. Right? And Rick is just like.
I love she just helps herself to, like, there's really no checking to see if anybody might possibly come back or if anyone's been there. Like, you don't look around, like the food supply. And they didn't bother to try to find snacks. Like, y'all got to be hungry. At this point, that would have been my first venture. I was like, let's go into the kitchen area, see if there's any snackies.
I think my first would have been a shower or a toilet and then snacks.
Yeah, how long has it been since y'all have gone to the bathroom? Because
Right.
they've
Like
been
I'm
at it for
sure
a
they go
while.
all the time, but when was the last time you got to like actually sit and take a shit?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a toilet there. I mean, I'm probably the
Hmm.
CRM has toilets, but still, like that's got to be like when Denai got to the CRM. I'm sure that was like the first time she's used a toilet in
Hmm.
years. That
Yep.
would have been enough for me to be like, yeah, let's bring the kids here.
Yep.
I don't care what y'all are
Yep.
doing, what else you guys are doing
Hmm.
on your own time.
Yep.
I'm not leaving. I rewatched some of the like episodes 1, 2, and some of 3 also, and I saw how Okafor had got in his head, in Rick's head, in episode 1, that his family is still with him, but he will be fighting for them while he's here at the CRM. So that's kind of like
Hmm.
that's been like stuck in Rick's head once he decided to go ahead and be like, yeah, I'm in. And then like when they're in the helicopter right before they get blown down, Rick tells the story of his dad setting fire to their farm because it was going to
Yep.
fail and all
Hmm.
that stuff. And what he says, he's like, my mother said that he did what he did wasn't right, but that the scars and the pain he had just reminded him that he saved us. And that's when he fully commits, is like, I'm in.
Yeah.
So Rick C is like really looking through these just like fucking smeared rose colored glasses of
Yeah.
like really thinking that he's doing something by telling her to go and saying that this whole martyr sacrificing himself. I will stay here to make sure that you guys. I love him there. At some point, Michonne's like, "So you're going to stay here and maybe change something that might be wrong to possibly to protect us from someone who might come and like."
She's not having it. Mm-mm. She's pissed.
And now she keeps telling him, it's like, I don't know you. Like, you're not, like, she says it like 3 or 4 times. Like, I don't even know who you are anymore.
Yeah. And he just wants to go back. Like I can't believe he's not like, well, they think we're dead, you know?
Right.
Yay. We jumped out of the helicopter. We probably died when we landed. There's no
Right.
way that they probably think we survived.
Yeah.
But no.
And also, I noticed that, I guess we could say that before Michonne found him, Rick had symbolically killed himself by throwing out all his stuff and just like trying to say in order a way in a way for him to go ahead and get through this. So he's kind of emotionally dead. So it's gonna
Yeah.
take a while for him to come back, and she is just like working uphill with this. And I do appreciate that the song that's playing when this episode starts is "Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree." That whole
Hmm.
thing about I guess that was about soldiers coming back from the war. They're
Yeah.
gonna get home.
They're
They're
gonna
gonna
get
get
home.
home. That was
They're gonna get home.
a lovely little just. It's okay, guys. Don't be too worried. It's okay.
The one theme she keeps playing over and over and over again to him is like, I get it, but you're still lying to me.
Yeah, you're lying to
There's
yourself.
still something that you're not telling me, and you're not. Just tell me. Just tell me what it is. And but it happens like 3 times throughout the episode.
Right.
It's kind of like the A, B, and C. What's Rick hiding? What's Rick hiding? What's Rick hiding?
Yep. That moment that you had mentioned when when they get there and she immediately starts to change. First of all, it's beautifully lit. She is beautifully lit as she's standing there in that closet space and changing. It's just this golden hue and glow all over her. Her skin is so gorgeous. And so Rick is watching her. He's not taking his eyes off of her. And, as he does. And I'm sure he's very conflicted at this moment because, he doesn't want to give in and he doesn't want to, I don't know, whatever. But he's like watching, he's like looking her up and down, and then he notices that X scar on her back. And then that immediately like, what the fuck? Who did that? Who did what? And he doesn't say anything about it until later.
And me not having watched it, I'm also like, what's that? What's that about?
Hello, hi. I would also like an explanation.
Yeah, and one other thing, when we talked about like them looking for snacks, this is also the first time y'all been alone, and as far as you know, there's no walkers here. How are your clothes still on? Like,
I don't understand.
I get you need to argue, but
right. I know you guys are going through it right now, but you've been apart for like 8 years. Let's be like, we're gonna have to bang one out real quick, and then I'll get back to telling you, reading you the riot act. But until then, I can't think straight.
Exactly. Until you take your pants off, and then we'll get on with it.
And then I can go back to reading you to filth.
Right.
As they get there, and Michonne, oh my God, it's such a thing of fucking beauty. Like, even the way she's arguing and the way it's written, when they get there, and she's just like, kind of like, it throws Rick off for a second because she's just admiring the bookshelf and the book collection. She pulls out Ramona the Pest and talks about how much she loved it, and she's going to take that home for Judith. And she's like, you know what, I used to think I would be I'd be a writer. And it's like, that's like a little wink nod to the audience there. Yeah. Like, she wrote the episode. But,
which I totally missed and didn't notice until today. And I'm like, is that? No.
So we think it's this cute little thing. She's like, oh, this is awesome, like these books. And I thought that was gonna be like computer sciences, then back to creative writing. And speaking of creative writing, let's talk about that little note you left.
You're quite the creative writer yourself.
You want to write another one for your children, and this is how she tells him that about RJ.
Yeah, he's like, children.
By accidentally dropping children. You said children. And I love just like true to black woman form, how she sucks her teeth. I didn't mean to do it like that, but.
I'm surprised she wasn't just like Maggie's kid. Maggie had, Maggie and Glenn's kid, the children. But no, she tells the truth.
In the collective sense, yes. Yeah. So she tells the truth about it. And his response is, give me the call button. Richard Josephine Grimes. He is lucky he did not get just like a lamp upside his head at that point. Because that is not the reaction.
I'm about to take you across my knee, sir.
None of us were expecting that reaction. And he's really pissed that the apartment keeps talking to them. And so
it's so funny. He's like an old curmudgeon. He's so mad about it.
Where's that coming from? Make it stop. Get off my lawn.
Yes. I love it.
And so he's still like berating her he's like, I told you not to show him who you are, and then you go and break the kill record, and you do whatever that Pearl didn't like, and blah blah blah. And Michonne is still trying to chip away at this armor that he's got put up, and she asks him if he still loves her. He says he never stopped, and so she hands over the call button, and at that moment, that's when they see the helicopter has crashed into the building. And that next to their end, it's like, oh, great news, Rick. Hey, look, right? They think we're dead. We're in the clear. Right. No. Rick does not see it this way.
And she looks so beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen her smile so big when we can go home. She's so happy. And he's just like, nope.
So he is working through PTSD, Stockholm syndrome, trauma. This is so much. And so obviously Michonne finally gets fed up, tells him off, and walks out. And and this, oh God, this is heartbreaking.
This scene is so good. I'm screaming at the TV. You better go out in that hallway. You better go. Either you turn around and go back, or you better go out there. Somebody better do something. There's no way that this is happening.
It took, and this is, perfectly timed for, dramatic suspense, but it took too long for my liking. I was on the edge. But I
do love the attitude of her walking out in the hall like, this motherfucker, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I'm done with this. I am so done with him. And nope.
Wait for it. He better come out here for me right now. Wait for it. I know he's going to open that door and get his ass out here right now. Wait for it. Oh, no, he is not taking this long to come out here after me.
Well, fuck him. I'm out of here.
And she goes off, and he finally comes to his senses. And oh God, there's so much torment in him as he's like up on the other side of that door. Oh, it hurts my feelings so. And he finally goes out after her, which just in time, because as she's going out the door downstairs, she sees there's a herd of walkers, and but the CRM comes through and they blow up the building. They bomb the building, and she's like, what? And he comes in just in time and like kind of swoops her away. And so there's this whole thing where they're fighting off zombies and trying to like get out of this building that's being blown to bits. I want to say that the bombing of the building is symbolic of the relationship. Like sometimes you gotta, and I think he even says something like later on about you gotta burn it down to rebuild, or burn it down for anything to grow again. It's not what I would like for them, but it's just like you gotta blow the whole thing up so you can rebuild, essentially. And so they're going through this, and some of this is like some of the dialogue and interaction is like the most married they've ever behaved. Because I absolutely see this, because there's a moment he's like trying to like give her fucking instructions. He's like take a defensive position, and she fucking mocks him as like defensive position. Okay, commando. And then he's like back at her, commando, really? Like that's what we're doing? Yeah.
It's so perfect. I love it.
And they both go for the same walker, and they're like, I got it. I had it. And he pulls the knife out, and he gets scoop in her eye, and the disgust. Really?
Who needs therapy? You just need a building that's crumbling around you. And at the same time, like, it's building up to this tension, which reminded me a lot of Buffy and Spike and their abandoned building.
Yeah. Yep. It's very similar to that. And then they run into a room and find out what this whole thing is. Like somebody, what? Like I don't even know. Do I have to care? Like, is this going to come up later? Do I have
to care? Yeah, like they keep telling us these stories. I don't care. I don't.
Right. You got 2 episodes left. Is this going to come back at any point? Probably not. But I will say that this person, the lab tech or whoever was in charge of this operation that the apartment complex was a part of, Greenwich Village, or I don't know, whatever. She took the most elaborate way out. Like, dude, you're
innovative.
I am never
painless.
Was that painless? Like, it's like I have never.
It's like it looks like she just put that headgear on, pressed a button, and it's an immediate electric charge to her brain. Instantaneous death. Like,
God, to me that seems like that'd be like the most painful. Like, it seems like it would just take a while. Like, what if it just didn't
I think
hit
she
all the
charged it right into the wall, like right into the electric panel.
Yeah,
I think she was super surged to the brain. She was out.
Woo! I have never.
And smart enough to do it to the brain so that she didn't come back.
Yeah, God, oh my God. But yeah,
again, this place has been locked up for a while. Is it just me, or does no one on The Walking Dead have a sense of smell? Because this place should be stanky.
Yeah. Maybe, like, honestly, though, it's probably they just don't. It doesn't register anymore.
You don't smell dead stuff no more?
I don't think so. I think it's just a normal, that's probably all you smell at this point, especially with like these herds of walkers around. Because again, when I was watching these episodes in season 3, him and Daryl and Michonne, I think, had walked into I don't know, a cabin or something, abandoned cabin, and immediately they were hit with like the smell of death. And this is like season 3, and they're all like, "Ah, God, what is that?" And at that point, it was just a dead dog. So I think
right. This is a whole building of dead people. Like, this conversation should be like, I was taking a but I guess you can't do a whole show about people heaving all the time.
Yeah, I would just imagine that you just get used to it after a while. It's kind of like when you have a baby and they start shitting. Like, if you're the first few months, it's like but But then after a while, it's just like, oh yeah, she shit herself. Like that's it's time to change the diaper. Like that's that's just how it is. You smell it, but it no longer affects you as terribly. Which I don't really like that for anyone, but okay. So in their interaction during all this, like especially when with their little bickering, they should have been the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Now, like, I haven't watched it. I don't really plan on it. I don't see any sort of chemistry.
No, thank you.
Between either one of them, like never. And
No,
you could never. Like Brad and Angelina. How dare you, Donald Glover?
Right.
And I don't know anything
Lives
about
were
the
ruined
girl.
for that movie. No, thank you.
There were real things at stake there. Like
right.
But I would absolutely watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith starring Denai Guerrera and Andrew Lincoln. So
yeah,
if anybody wants to do something like that, I really want them to get these two in something else together. Like, please just bring them into the present day without an apocalypse, just normal shit happening. I don't care what it is. Just get them there with the same chemistry.
I mean, I don't even care if you want to keep them going as Michonne and Rick, and they head up a new thing where they got to go clear out cities, and they just take out things and rebuild society. I'm fine to watch this for 10 more years. I'm good. I'm good.
I am hooked. I'm here on it. Eventually, Michonne gets trapped under a chandelier, and then there's the whole thing.
Which I still don't understand how that happened.
I don't know. But she's like, Rick, you gotta go save yourself, and he's like, never. And eventually, like he gets her out of there, and she thanks him, and he's like, you never have to thank me. Which
there is a really intense moment where like a walker falls on her while he's still trying to get it off, and she manages to kill it. But then another stupid one falls on top of it, and it's so close to her face, and I'm just like,
all I could think was how
walker juice in your mouth.
All I could think was how she is so strong. Like in the position that she was sitting and just being able to push them both off. Oh goodness.
And it's the first time I thought, thank goodness the walkers on The Walking Dead are not like The Last of Us, because Last of Us,
oh God,
it would have just reached out its tentacle mouth and like
those things really, it took me a really long time to be able to watch that show, because that literally just, the way they're designed, it makes my skin crawl. Like I just feel some kind of way looking at them. I have to kind of look away, and it's not, and that's not a normal thing for me. Like I watch a lot of gory shit, but like some things, it's just, ooh, it just really gets to me.
I think it's the way they click, especially like the clickers.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. And if the walkers did that, but the way they just keep coming and coming, like
there's so many.
Bleh.
So the moment we've all been waiting for, once they finally get through the walkers and she gets freed from the chandelier, they walk back into the apartment, because this side of the building is not crumbling yet, says Rick. They walk into the apartment. The minute the door closes, the way that he is looking at her.
And I'm like, now?
You have some strange turn-ons, Rick. I just gotta say. I don't know if it's just the adrenaline from what just happened. You guys almost lost your lives several times. You're she's still got some walker juice on her face thanks to you. Okay, I guess this is what's happening.
And the building is literally coming down, just not quite yet on this side. But
I guess
you would have had plenty of
time
to get out, but you would have plenty of time to get out.
Yeah.
Like that, you wouldn't have to be squeaky bum time later on, because you had all this time to get out.
You guys, time management. I just want to talk to you about it. Like it's not. Let's just
not that we don't want to see it. It's just
no. We do. We've waited 4 episodes for this. We've waited quite 8 years apparently. 8 years. We've all waited for this, and this has got to be one of the best sex scenes I've ever seen on television. And it's not graphic at all.
No.
You know, it's done very tastefully.
Mm-hmm.
But damn it, if it's not like you just feel it in like your gut, everything that's going on, and just from the moment, like their dance is so precise, and their chemistry is just so spot on. Like, honestly, seriously, Mrs. Andrew Lincoln, I don't know how you do this. How do you go about your day?
Yeah. It's good chemistry. He even has like a little moment where it's a little snafu, and you're like, "Oh, Rick, are you okay?"
I think he's
Are you all
having,
right?
he has a little panic attack for a hot second there, and understandably so. Like, dude hasn't been intimate, like in any sort of intimacy, in 8 years.
Yeah,
and save for this unwanted touching that you say is happening with Jadis, I don't. Which I full on I deny. I do not believe it happened. But he's just had like no intimacy or skin to skin contact with anyone in all this time, and he probably even thinks like this might even be, is this a dream? Like for a hot second, he's probably thinking that he's dreaming one of his little meet cute dreams, and she brings him back real quick. And I gotta say, the most graphic thing I've seen in most sex scenes is in this moment is when they flip over and his eyes flutter shut.
It's too much. It's too personal. It's too personal. It's like I shouldn't.
Are we wearing the sock and the body cover? Like, is this, or are we witnessing some things we should not be witnessing?
Yeah. It's a little.
It's getting real.
Like I guess that's how Mrs. Lincoln does it. But they look so cute in bed with the afterglow, and they're so happy. And I'm still like, would you get the fuck out of that bed? The building is falling down.
We don't have time.
We don't
have time for post-coital cuddles and pillow talk.
Nope. And then he gets the scare of his life. He's like, what the fuck is that thing?
Because he's about to go in for round 2, and then the Roomba just like zooms by. He's like, hey, what? And Michonne explains to him, and he's still not buying it. He's still just like, what? You're saying these words, and I should know what they mean, but I don't.
He has this look on his face like, great, now I have to fight robots. I don't think I have it in me to fight AI on top of zombies. I can't.
So this is the moment where finally, one or two of Rick's layers come down. Michonne has basically kind of fucked some sense into him. So he's asking about RJ, and he asks her about the scar, and she tells him about, that you didn't know, Tara from True Blood. Was on an episode, and she was like an old friend of Michonne's that she had run into. Which, how do you run it? Like, okay, in the zombie apocalypse, they run into each other.
Of all the gin joints and all
and she has some weird storyline where she was like stealing children and like using them as armies, or like she was building an army of children basically, and the children she was making them kill people. It was weird. It was only like one episode that this happened, but
that's so weird.
It was so random. So yeah, and she tells Rick the story. She's like, it's happened when she was 7 months pregnant, and he's just like getting visibly agitated as she's telling him the story. And she's like, and then I dealt with it. She tortured me and Daryl, and I dealt with it. And I'm not gonna go into how. And he's like, did you kill her? She's like, yeah. He's like, good.
Good. I'm glad you did it.
That's all I
One
needed
less
to
person
know.
I gotta go kill.
Now, what I don't understand is there are people on the internet. So she mentions that she mentions Daryl twice. She says Daryl's name twice. She and Daryl have been out looking for Rick's body, or Rick, or trying to find him. Blah, 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 blah. Rick doesn't react when she says anything about Daryl. Okay.
And there's people to be like his brother.
but people on the internet have been like really up in arms about, like, I've seen tweets where like, we didn't bat an eyelash when she brought up Daryl.
I mean,
he has just found his wife, who has just told him that he has a son. They have just made the love of the best love of their lives that either of them have had in 8 fucking years. And y'all want to be mad that he didn't say nothing about Daryl's crusty ass? Like, come on now. Like, that's like, no shade to Daryl, but right. I gotta, like, it's a time and a place. There right. People have their spots and things. There's a hierarchy.
All we need is like further down the road for him to be like, wait, you said Daryl was what now? And they'll be fine. That's all they need. That's all.
Because to be honest, because this is not out of character for Rick in this moment. For this Rick right now, right. That's not out of character because, quite frankly, he hasn't asked about anybody. All he asked about Judith as soon as he saw her, understandably, and nobody else. He didn't ask about Carol or Daryl or anybody else that he knew back at the Maggie. Like, he don't give a like. That's not where his head is right now. That's not where it is. Yeah. Like, he's fighting to hold on to the slim, like, just the slither of whatever Rick Grimes is at this moment. He's like holding on by a thread, literally.
Yeah. Yeah, a tiny little thread. And he's working it out with her, and they finally get to some little piece of, like, a glimmer of a resolution, and the building starts to crumble a little bit, and he's like, oh, we gotta go. And she's like, sit your ass down.
We got time. Because what you're going to do is you're going to tell me what's what, and you're going to tell me you're coming home with me. And she also kind of gets, she gets a little more honest by telling him how she doesn't know how Judith and RJ are right now. Because she hasn't been able to talk to them, communicate with them with the walkie-talkie for years or at this point.
And we do get confirmation that she was with Nat for a year. In that mall, so that was 6 years that they were apart, a year that she was with. This is how we get to 8 years. Like, this is insane.
Yeah,
this is crazy. Nuts. I love how vulnerable she is with him, though, and I think that's what helps him finally be able to say, you know, this kind of all leads back to Carl and the fact that he forgot what Carl looked like.
Yeah. I think
my heart just went, oh.
That really hurts. That hurts. That hurt a lot. Like, that was really sad. And this is the point. She does tell him about the guy in the marketplace that she found. Yeah, and
she has the phone.
Yeah.
Because she was able to tell him what Carl looked like, and he was able to draw Carl.
And so again, so she gives that to him.
Fills in those holes for him, because what was happening, he told her he used
Did she have to have him draw with just the one eye, though?
With the hat, right? And with the hat, like with the long ass hair, you had to draw annoying Carl.
That's the beauty of portraiture. You could have done however.
Right.
But okay. But as you were saying.
He tells her that he used to be able to see Carl when he first got to the CRM. And then over time, he lost that vision of Carl, but it was replaced with visions of her. And that was okay for a while. And he would see her, and then he slowly started to lose that vision as well. And there was just nothing left. And he died. And he doesn't think that he can die again. Then, like, he can't get to that place again. And it's like, part of me is like, okay, I get it. I do. Yeah. I understand. But at the same time, get the fuck up, because you're coming home. Your kids need you. Yeah. And I'm done. Like, we will work it out once the building comes down. We'll continue to talk about it on the road.
Yeah. Right? Because you can't just say, like, you can't just send her home and say that, yes, okay, as long as I stay here and she's absolutely 100% safe. No. You need to go and be with your family and protect them from there, a place there. And so another something that points out when she gives him the phone with Carl's drawing on it. This is like the second time she's kind of given them their family back, sort like because in that episode, Clear, when Carl's disobedient ass goes off. He was going to the bar to go because there's a family photo up there, and he was going to take it and give it home. So Michonne helps him, and she goes and gets it and gives it back to him, gives it to him. And that's when Carl decides that, all right, she's cool. But I also love that point where she grabs that cat from there too, and she's like, it's just so damn gorgeous.
Michonne did the unthinkable for me, and she made me like Carl in the later seasons because I hated Carl. Hated Carl.
Oh, me too. Me too. Like, it was their relationship that saved Carl for me. And even when he died, I did not mourn him. It was still more like finally. Like,
man. For me, it was more like, buddy. I'm so sorry.
Sorry for your loss. What's next? What are we doing? So another thing a lot of people on the interwebs are mad about. Michonne, you are the love of my life.
As much as I hate Carl, I hate Lori more. So I don't care. I cheered when he said that.
Too. It's
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Just say it.
Because,
say it with your chest.
I don't care. People, you tend to forget that she had an affair with Shane. That she,
listen.
Because I'm sorry, I don't believe that started after the apocalypse and after Rick was in a coma. Bullshit.
Also, they were separated for a couple months.
Right.
Michonne has been looking for Rick for 6 fucking years. She ain't dip-dapped nobody during that time period. But Lori, she couldn't wait. Didn't take no time for her to go on and get Shannon. Yeah, and you're right. And I don't believe that that was the first and only time that her and Shane hooked up.
Because there's not that much time after the apocalypse starts for Shane to go that crazy to be willing to kill Rick.
Seriously.
Over her.
Seriously. Like maybe I don't even think it was a full year at that point. It couldn't have been. So like, you mean to tell me that Lori was just so great and Shane was just so broken that like 2 months of them fucking around, and that was enough for him to be like head over heels, I'm ready to murder my best friend from grade school over her? Like, come on now. Come on.
And like, he just like decided that Judith was his, right? Are we sure that Judith isn't actually Shane's?
No, we're not. Because every time Rick sees Shane in his dreams or when he's close to dying, Shane always says that it's his kid. And I feel like it is. I feel like Judith is his, and Rick just doesn't believe it, won't see it.
I do too.
Because, like the math ain't mathin' really. Like, I don't.
It's not.
Like, I feel like.
Not mathin'.
So, yeah. The love of his life. Put it on a t-shirt. Shit. That shit is that is canon, and it stays this way forever.
You have a cricket. I foresee a t-shirt coming.
Read it and weep, bitches. Like, if you don't like it, like, I'm like, sorry about your luck. Like, Lori was trash from Jump Street, and she didn't deserve him. Like, there was never anything like even like any time that they interacted, it was still like, he was just like, even when he found her, it wasn't like this. Like, when when Michonne found him, like, it was just still like they were on the outs before the apocalypse started. Like, they're about out the door anyway. So
I love that after this discussion, we kind of get our Mr. and Mrs. Smith moment because Mom and Dad are back and Rick has changed his clothes finally.
I love it.
And they're on their way out of the building.
Symbolism.
Yep. They've crushed the device for the CRM. We're not going home. We go outside, and luck of luck, we have found an electric car, which they don't. Rick is like, what's this shit?
And then he gets in the driver's seat and is like, oh, it's a stick shift.
Which I love that. I love that she has to drive the stick shift instead of normally it would be the guy that would drive the stick shift.
Well, also he's missing. Yeah, also he's missing a hand too.
That too, but like, he's missing.
So is it? But he can't
right
steer.
hand.
But he still can't steer.
He can't shift.
So I don't know if it's just
she could
that
shift for him.
I don't know if it's just that he doesn't know anything about driving a stick shift. It was probably really layered. There were probably a lot of things happening there. It's an electric car. I don't know what I'm doing. It's a stick shift. I kind of know what I'm doing, but I also don't have a hand. I'm missing a hand here.
Well, no, is it his right or his left?
It's his left hand.
That's
gone.
That's gone. So he could shift with his right.
He could, but he couldn't really steer.
He could steer with his right and shift it. You can steer with your knee and shift.
Okay, full disclosure, I can't drive a stick.
You can't steer with your with your knee.
I don't know nothing about like stick shifts. Yeah, that would be me. Like
I can't shift. Like I drove into the garage. I can't do it. I tried once and I drove into the garage. So that's why I'm not allowed to do it. But they find out that the truck that they're stealing, not only is it an electric car, but it also has a bunch of ethanol in the back.
Yeah. What's she gonna do with that? Also, drive really safely, guys. Please don't crash into anything.
I'd have been like, well, we gotta find something else. I don't drive bombs.
So among all of this chaos and commotion, like even, Mom and Dad are back. They get into the elevator, still can't keep their hands off each other. Like they start to go at it a little bit in the elevator. Still, the fucking building is crumbling down. When they switch,
safety says could you not take the stairs? Why?
Yeah, I'm surprised they were able to take the elevator.
Well, the building is just like, you have like 2% left before the elevator stops. It's counting down, telling them like exactly how much time they have left before the elevator won't work. And I'm like, just take the stairs, unless the stairs are blocked.
I don't know. But then when they get into the car, when she has to drive and they switch seats, there's a little fucking like teenage moment when they start to they rub up on each other as they switch seats. And I love it because it's just like, yes, they're back and they're happy and things are going to work. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right.
That's not the feeling I had.
I'm also a little
concerned. Enjoy it now because shit's about to get real. This is about to go to shit pretty soon. I just know it.
I mean, everything's is all right with their relationship. I know that I know they're not safe, but I just know that they're not breaking up.
Yeah,
Michonne doesn't have to leave him somewhere again.
No, but like even the characters, they're like driving away all happy, like we're off we're going home. Here we go, and I'm like, are you kidding me? It is not going to be this easy. This is not how this show goes.
No. I'm a little concerned that they chose this bright ass yellow car that they're you're running from the CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, sure. This neon yellow car. Go, yeah, whatever, fine.
In a world where not many things move, and it's the brightest thing on. Okay, sure.
We're driving the sun.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you really think that Jadis is going to think they're dead? Or do you think she's going to think they caused that somehow? She's immediately going to be like, this is what the fuck I was talking about, Rick.
This is what they do.
What I was talking about.
Like, this is what they do. Jadis is...
If I know Jadis, she's already on her way to Alexandria or wherever the hell everybody is.
Right. Because, I think last we left them... They were rebuilding Alexandria.
Okay.
And
So
I
I'm
think
betting the last 2 episodes are going to be a race between who can get to their family first, the CRM or them.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm
I think
scared.
because I know that there was like a whole. I think Judith and RJ are at the Commonwealth, which was like the new settlement with a bunch of
With
people.
Ezekiel, or is Ezekiel dead?
No, he's there. He has taken over. Like the kingdom is no more. So like they had found this new place called the Commonwealth, which was like real sketch and shady and all that shit. But they, did what they do and got things back in order. And Ezekiel is now their president or whatever.
Does he still have a tiger?
No.
What happened to the tiger?
Oh, she got eaten by a bunch of walkers. Yeah. Saving his life. Yeah.
But he's supposed to be dead.
Nope. Him and his speeches are still. Do you see that Kari Payton? Is that his name? He's going to be in a new Marvel project. I don't know what it is. If it's on Disney Plus, if it's a movie, it's a show, it's a fucking animated series, whatever. But it's 1943, and he's T'Challa's grandfather, and he's going to be Black Panther in 1943.
All right. I'm here for that.
Yeah, I just saw it on his Instagram.
That's exciting.
Right? So I am in love with the fandom and all the fans and the Michonne'S out there. And my favorite thing is my Twitter feed right now. And here are some of my favorite tweets that I saw. There's someone by the name of Dory Edwards. I just watched episode 4 of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, and I will be filing a class action lawsuit against AMC, its owners, and subsidiaries for emotional damages. Please like or comment to be added to this suit.
That's amazing. I love that.
I also saw that there were some people like pissed off about that there was a love scene in this episode, and like The Walking Dead, it doesn't really have, like, really, y'all didn't say boo about Negan and Alpha's punk asses, like, in that like that nastiness that was happening in the nasties. Like, stop it.
That was something I didn't need to know.
Oh, it was horrible.
I've seen what Alpha looks like.
It was awful. It was the most disgusting sex scene I have ever, like, it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't even graphic or anything. It was just ill, just everything. Like, and it happened right after we had just seen her take a shit in a ditch. It's so awful. So awful.
I'm so glad I stopped watching this show.
Somebody on Twitter, Mama Bia, people complaining that The Ones Who Live doesn't have enough action are interesting. Name a season of The Walking Dead where every episode had nonstop, heart-pacing action. The story has always been about human connection and found family. Like, what show have y'all been watching for a decade? Like, I think that's an excellent point. I can't believe people
full of like long, drawn-out stories and full moments.
Yes, and that's why I love this show so much. Because it's not just about killing zombies. Like, there is so much more character development and interaction and, just layered nonsense or layered nuances that are going on.
If there wasn't character development story, like, would the moment when Sophia comes out of that barn have meant as much?
Yo, to this day, that still rocks me. Like, that is like some of the...
Or the moment when Daryl walks out of the hospital with Beth and Maggie's just like...
right now I'm getting chills just kind of thinking about it. Even though I was fine seeing Beth go. And I also kind of feel like Maggie really didn't care that much. That's a whole nother thing.
Poor Maggie. Maggie's lost everything. Like...
Yeah. All she's got is little Herschel. Two Dead Chicks, which is another podcast who talk about The Ones Who Live. And I think they also have done The Walking Dead too. But who knew the next The Walking Dead villain would be a Roomba?
True.
Yeah. And this is small someone named Margot _CEO. Small black tea Rick with the slutty waist has been my favorite this series.
That's great. I want to know what they packed in their bags. Because they took these really big backpacks. I want to know what's
like
in
camping backpacks or something. Like.
Did they finally find the snacks?
I hope so. I hope they found some good stuff in there. Snacks and toilet paper. Maybe some moist towelettes.
Toilet paper, tampons, and toothpaste.
That's another thing. You missed it because you when they get to this Commonwealth place, and there's a new character named Princess, who's amazing. I love her. But like she asked to go to the bathroom when they get there or something, or she was ready to go outside, and they're like, they point her in the direction of an actual bathroom, and she was like, "What?" She's like, "Y'all got a bathroom?" And then she goes in, and then she comes out. She's like, "Y'all got toilet paper?" she's like, "I'm so excited right now." You don't even know.
That was almost as good as when, oh my God, Tara from True Blood on Last of Us introduces Ellie to the Diva Cup.
Oh, yeah. I forgot she was on there.
Uh-huh.
Which, yeah, that makes sense in the apocalypse.
Oh, yeah. Not for me in real life.
No.
No.
I could never.
But in an apocalypse? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.